Hi there, my name is Toby, and I've spent most of my life obsessively training internal and external martial arts and all sorts of mysterious, obscure, and esoteric exercises from around the world, India, Tibet, China, and I've trained with some obscure masters as well as some famous masters like Muntak Chia with Taoist internal practices. And I've assimilated all this knowledge and I've tried to boil it down into something simple that we can all understand. And I've started all over again, so I've called this body efficiency training. And this is exercise number 3, bamboo swaying in the wind. And this is advanced level, so I do suggest you go back to intermediate and beginner level of this exercise before you try this one. But here, what I'm doing is I'm standing up in what I call the upright neutral stance. So my arms and legs are bent halfway. Everything is in a neutral position. I'm trying to keep the S-curve of the spine, the natural position of the spine, as if there was nothing happening to it, like I was floating in space. And holding this position, I'm just falling forwards and backwards. Now, this is the intermediate level here, so I'm recapping what we did in the last video. And I catch myself by trying to project my bottom out like I'm sitting on a chair. My upper body leans back like I'm resting back in a sofa, but at the moment I fall, I've got to pull myself down and sit on a chair. And this is the secret, and this is what I call structural isometrics. It's a new way of using your body. We're holding isometric tension in the joints of the body and trying to hold that tension and hold our body in a good structure. And now this is the advanced level, so I'm doing the same thing, upright neutral stance, but I'm on the ball of the feet. My heels are off the floor, and now keeping the heels off the floor, I'm falling backwards and falling forwards and trying to catch myself by locking up the structure with this structural isometric tension. I'm holding tension in the joints more than the muscles. And most important is I've got to keep the belly in. I'm pulling the waistline tight. I'm pulling the navel to the spine and holding the obliques tight, and I'm trying to keep an arch in the spine, a natural curve in the spine. And as I fall back, again, I've got a grip with the glutes, pull down with the back of the legs like I'm sitting in a chair. The upper body, the shoulders and the rib cage lift up and lean back, and then before I fall, I've got to pull myself down into this structure to stop myself falling, like I'm going to sit down on a chair behind me. And even when I fall forward, it's the same thing. Falling forward, you've got to project your hips backwards to rebalance yourself. Now, the feet have got to work very hard. You see, here I am now on the ball of the feet. My heels are in the air. Now, they're only very slightly up. They're not very high, just slightly in the air. And I've got to catch myself by gripping the toes and gripping with the arch of the foot. And even here, you see I'm rotating and twisting the ankle occasionally. So I've got to do a lot of work with the ankle. We want to get a very strong body. The whole body's got to be strong. We've got to work everything, the toes and the fingers, the ankles and the wrists, every joint in the body. But we start from the spine. Everything extends from the spine. And then we need to find our center of gravity. And that's what this exercise is all about. We're trying to feel our center of gravity and our center line of gravity. And the spine is at the back of the body. So when we fall back, we're aligning ourselves with the spine correctly. So this falling back is very, very important practice. You've got to feel what it's like, right? The alignment is right at the back of your body. And then when we can find this, we can find our center of gravity and learn how to move our body around to keep that center of gravity in the middle. And we have to compensate with the upper body and the lower body to keep this center of gravity going. And now what I'm doing is getting closer to the actual neutral stance. So I do suggest you go and look at the videos about the neutral stance, how I build this from scratch. It's a very interesting position of the body. It's an unknown thing. I haven't seen anyone else talk about this, but it is so universal, so logical that it will make sense if you can understand this. Now, in the neutral stance, I'm levering slightly forward, so I've got a more dynamic position. The upright neutral stance, I'm keeping a vertical spine like this. The neutral stance, I'm leaning slightly forward like that. So when I'm leaning forward, of course, now I can fall forward, and I've got to catch myself again in the same way by locking up this very dynamic and balanced stance. I've got to balance a lot more because I'm on the ball of the feet. It's a lot harder to do than flat-footed. But I fall forward, and as I fall forward, I've got to feel my center of gravity and project my hips back, pull myself down, pull my belly in if I fall forward to rebalance myself. And when I fall back, I've got to do the same thing. I've got to lever forward and project my hips backwards to prevent myself falling backwards. So I'm trying to find and hold my center of gravity, falling forwards and levering forwards and straightening up and leaning backwards. So it's very dynamic, and it's quite tricky. And then at the end, always loosen up and let go of everything. Twist left and right, make sure there's no residual tension. But play with this exercise. It's very interesting and it's very unusual, but the benefits of this are incredible. If you can feel this center of gravity and you can feel your inner spinal alignment, everything you do will become easier in life. So please do go back and check out beginner and intermediate level. The links are here, and also have a look at the neutral stance. Again, the link is here, and this is where I build up the neutral stance from scratch. It's very important you understand that. And if you want to do this series of exercises, you can go to my playlist, and the playlist called Basic Exercise Series. You can start this whole series from the very beginning, which I thoroughly recommend you start from the beginning. Okay, I hope this made sense, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.